But it's not easy when you're blind from the truth. Oh, darling, let me be your mountain. 'Cause I see it as my goal. Wanna be with you every second I got. Don't cry. Oh, baby, don't cry. Oh, I wanna be with you every second of my life. I know your world is hollow. Yeah. 'Cause I can see it in your eyes. Oh, yeah. But there is no need for sorrow. 'Cause I will be with you every second of my life. Sometimes it's just another day to get through. But it's not easy when you're blind from the truth. Oh, darling, let me be your mountain. 'Cause it is my goal. Oh, I wanna be with you every second I got. Ooh, I got. Gonna make it alright. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Even if you're down under the ocean floor, yeah, I'm gonna make it alright. Ooh, baby, don't cry. 'Cause there's always the tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, and if I could fly, yeah, I would be with you every second of my life. Oh.
I'm 21 and born year 23.
Welcome to Real Stories of the Mommy Patrol. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Hey, Allie the Sag. And welcome to everybody that will catch this video in the replay. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Subscribe and share. Check out all of the channels. We also have Raw Chats and the Pop Patient, as well as Raw B Privileged. And wherever you are watching from, we sincerely say thank you and good morning. Now, today we're going to talk about, something that seems to be an ongoing, pervasive issue for people dealing with children with autism. Honey, nobody can sleep. Nobody can sleep because the kids don't go to bed and they're exhausted and their life is predicated upon them not sleeping. Now, parents, oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Now, parents lacking sleep, they're, they're usually on edge. They usually make poor decisions because, well, you know what it is. They're exhausted. They're mentally and emotionally drained. They just can't handle it. Oh, I need some coffee. They be on that. They be on that type of time, honey, because it's just a lot that goes on. So today I'm going to offer up to the autism warrior mothers and the autism moms that kind of are a little bit lost and they don't really know what to do. Some tips and tricks to help your autistic children speak. Now, first, we're going to talk about why routine is important to children with autism spectrum disorder. There is recent research that we could all benefit from having a routine and a regular rhythm in our lives, but routine is especially important for children with autism. Here are some of the reasons why. It gives them order from chaos. Yes, that's right. I said order from chaos. Many children with autism spectrum disorder live in a world of chaos. These children are having difficulty making sense of everyday movements, sounds, and actions. What sounds like a symphony to you may sound like white noise to the ASD child. Routine creates order in their lives. These children gradually learn what to expect and when to expect it. Routine creates a safe and secure environment in which life is predictable. Now, as a mother of a child with autism, I'm going to tell you, adjusting your life to be regimented and, ordered can be a change if you're a free spirit, and I am one. But you have to take a step back from things that are causing a distraction, from anything outside of your autistic child until you get them adjusted to a routine. And I'm going to tell you, I have a child that is stage 3 autistic. That is the most severe end of the spectrum. And these past 3 years, I've dedicated my life to making sure his routine is in order, making sure his nutrition is in order. And that's not an easy task because my child is a very picky eater. He does not like food. And when we couldn't get him to physically ingest the foods that were good for him because, textural differences or whatever, we found other alternatives that he enjoyed to make sure he got all the nutrition and the omega-3 fatty acids that he needed to ensure that his brain could develop to the best potential that it needed to develop at. We spent a ton of time focused on his, vocalization and getting him to a place where he is no longer nonverbal. But I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, that takes dedication. I know it may be shocking because of my whole body of work on YouTube and all of the other things that I do, but understand this. At the head of my list of things to do is care for my children, especially my autistic child. Now, let's continue. Routine comes naturally. Children with autistic spectrum disorder naturally tend to like repetitive actions. You often will notice them creating repetition themselves. In fact, repetition in behavior can be one of the signs of autism. Routine comes naturally to them. And it's not hard for them to learn a productive routine in place of an unproductive one. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, like, oh no, my child is never going to adapt, that's not true. The beauty is that's part of nature of who they are. It's up to you, the parent, the leader, the nurturer, to give them a routine that will benefit them. Now, another reason routines are important is they are known to relieve stress in almost all individuals. Think about it. When your day is chaotic and you don't know where you're going and you don't know what's going on and what's happening from one moment to the next, you're all over the place. You're bothered. You're dropping stuff. You're just frazzled. It's just like, oh, what's going on? I guess I did. Imagine that inside of the mind of a child with autism. See, let me show you a little bit what people think autism is versus how these children ingested. Hey, Kevin in sales. How you doing, boo? Good morning. This is the autism iceberg. What people think autism is being emotionalist and a genius, because most children and most adults with autism are a genius in their own right. There is one specific task that they will glom onto, and because of the repetition in their nature, they repeat it over and over again so that they absolutely master it, and it translates into beauty and genius for the world to see. But what goes on underneath that iceberg that you think you know about people with autism and children with autism is depression, hyperfixations, difficulty forming friendships, social confusion, auditory processing disorder, executive dysfunction, sensory processing disorder, emotional dysregulation, perfectionism, anxiety, masking, strong emotions, rejection sensitive dysphoria, sleeping issues, difficulties with conversations, stimming, difficulty with change, and meltdown. And I'm going to tell you, I, me, she, her, I deal with that a lot. And it took a lot to learn how to manage my child with autism and also learn how to manage my reactions. Providing a routine for him helped me provide a routine for myself. And it minimized the stress for both me and the child, and it afforded me the ability to be a better parent. So I'm giving y'all this message this morning so that if you're struggling with a child with autism, these tips can help you be a better parent and help your child develop to the fullness of their potential. Now, the child with ASD has a particularly stressful life as he or she tries to make sense of his or her surroundings. Again, adding routine will relieve the child's stress. Once you can relieve the child's stress, then it is much easier to help the child learn new things, new habits, new skills, new accomplishments. New habits, new skills, new accomplishments. New habits, new skills, and new accomplishments. Routine is a powerful learning tool in the ASD environment. Now, one of the great tools out there to help children on the spectrum is ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis. That type of therapy can help you learn how easy it is for your autistic child to learn routines. It helps you understand their process. It helps them to achieve goals. So if you have a child with autism, look into some ABA. The waiting list is very long because a lot of children need it. And there's not enough people that are certified to give ABA therapy, but it's worth the wait. You got to do the work though, because people don't tell you this, and you got to get involved with case management. If you don't know in and of yourself how to go out there and advocate for your children and fight for your children and get these resources, get a case manager so the case manager can put you in touch with who you need to be in touch with. Hey, Janice Lockhart, welcome. Now, we're going to talk about establishing good sleep hygiene. I'm going to share this screen with y'all because this screen comes directly from Autism Speaks. Okay. So, what autismspeaks.org says, which is one of the biggest advocates for children and adults with autism spectrum disorder. So this is the authority, hands down. No, pushback. This is a quick little essay written by Carol Lamb, MD, Associate Clinical Professor of Pediatrics, Diplomat, American Academy of Sleep Medicine. She is also the Director of Pediatric Sleep Disorder Centers in Columbia University Medical Center. Let's read. Sleep problems are very common, reportedly as high as 80% in children with ASD. In typically developing children, sleep problems and insufficient sleep can result in daytime sleepiness, learning problems, and behavioral issues such as hyperactivity, inattentiveness, and aggression. That's the meltdown. When the children are screaming and acting a whole fool, it's because they tired. It's because they tired. They upset. They mad. They mad, y'all. They mad. They need their sleep. Recent research in children with ASD demonstrates that poor sleepers exhibit more problematic behavior than good sleepers. Poor sleepers exhibit more problematic behavior than good sleepers. We're going to get into the why in a minute. Because again, when we're talking about different age groups, the amount of time that a child sleeps matters. It is necessary for their brain to regenerate and to grow and expand, for their cellular function to regenerate every night. They need a window, a brick of time to get all that rest in so they can grow, so their plates and their bones can, you know what I'm saying, shift and stretch. That's why your children move around so much and they sleep. But we going to get back to that. Let me not get off track. Fortunately, there are several ways that parents can improve a child's sleep. You got to do the work. Establishing good sleep hygiene by addressing the following domains is a good first step. And again, this is just the foundation. Now, if you guys were here with me last night when we were talking about Malcolm X, and the night before when we were talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, we also spoke in depth about the foundation. If your foundation is shaky, nothing else is going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, if your child doesn't have the foundation of sleep, they're not going to learn skills like how to potty, how to talk, how to interact, how to use pictures exchanges as a way to communicate, how to feed themselves, how to dress themselves. They're not going to learn anything because their foundation is poor sleep. You have to first master this task. And you may need to add interventions on top of this, like melatonin. Melatonin is an appropriate sleep aid when used in moderation. You have to make sure you know the right dosage to give to your child based on their age and their weight. So for that type of intervention, I suggest you go to your pediatrician and find out what is best for your child. But let's just look at establishing good sleep hygiene. The sleep environment. The bedroom should be dark, quiet, and cool, as children with ASD might be particularly sensitive to noise and or have sensory issues. The environment should be adapted to make sure your child is as comfortable as possible. Not that you're comfortable. It's not about you, parents. It's about your child. A bedtime routine. The routine should be predictable, relatively short, 20 to 30 minutes, and include relaxing activities, such as reading or listening to quiet music. Side note, reading to your children also helps them improve their linguistic skills. Listening to language helps them to process what words look like in writing and what they are supposed to sound like. It improves their ability to read and interpret information, to be able to critically think. Reading is fundamental. Again, we're talking about foundation skills, building a solid one. Avoid the use of electronics close to bedtime, such as televisions, computers, video games, etc., tablets, phones, honey, little leapfrogs. Don't give them that before bed. It's going to stimulate their mind. It's going to put their brain in a different wave pattern so that they're not going to be able to sleep. Remember, sleep is ushering in gamma and beta waves. They're a lower frequency. It's the brain relaxing. When you're looking at the television and the computer, video games, etc., your brain activity, it looks like kind of when you're like reading energy in the room and the needle's going back and forth super, super quick. That's what happens when you look at electronics before bed. It's a stimulation, and it makes it difficult for your child to go to sleep. So take away the stimulation. Let your voice be what soothes your child. Let your touch be what soothes your child. It only takes 20 to 30 minutes. Let's continue. The sleep-wake schedule. The schedule should be regular, with not much of a difference between the weekday and the weekend schedule, which means, depending on your child's age, if your child goes to bed at 7:30 during the week, they should only go to bed at like 8 o'clock on the weekend. If they get up at 6:30, they should wake up on the weekend at like 6:37. It shouldn't be okay on the weekend now. You can stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 12 in the afternoon, because again, that's a disruption to routine and it's bad for proper sleep hygiene. Shh, don't tell nobody though. Teach your child to fall asleep alone. And this was a hard one for me, ladies and gentlemen, and it still is. I'm still fighting to get my son out of my bed. But I give him a little cuddle time. I read to him a little bit, and then I make him go to sleep alone. It's hard. It's a struggle every day, even now. But it fosters independence. And that is also important to teach children with ASD. Independence, because the reality is you're not going to be here forever. And the more time that you spend building the foundation of independence, the better they will be in the long run. It is important that your child learn the skill of falling asleep without a parent present. All children and adults wake briefly during the night, but quickly put themselves back to sleep by reestablishing actions used at bedtime. So if your child needs a parent present to fall asleep at bedtime, he might need a parent to help him fall back asleep during the normal awakenings, which means you won't get no sleep. And you'll be tired and exhausted. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm just exhausted. I can't do it. I'm just exhausted. Somebody save me. But you could just, build good sleep hygiene, healthy sleep hygiene, and let them sleep by themselves, and they'll learn to self-soothe. I think that's called the Berber method. Exercise. Daytime exercise can make it easier to fall asleep, and children who exercise tend to have deeper sleep. Oh, you know what that means? That means you can't sit your child in front of the television all day. You can't sit your child in front of electronics all day. You got to get up, get out, and get some. Take them to the park. Take them for a swim. Take them for a hike. Let them run around after them. You both will sleep good at night. But don't live a sedentary lifestyle and then just think, oh, because the sky has turned black, that everybody's going to fall asleep. No, especially if you have a poor diet and you're eating processed food and you're eating a bunch of sugar and drinking sodas with caffeines and juices with sugar. No, all that sugar is doing is sitting and building up in your body, giving you so much energy that it's impossible to fall asleep. Your brain doesn't produce the chemicals needed to fall asleep, not enough to counteract the poisons that you're putting into your body. Avoid allowing your child to exercise too close to bedtime, as that can also make it difficult for him or her to fall asleep, because again, you have, endorphins, adrenaline, so that kind of boosts it up. Like, you want them to exercise, but you want them to like go out and play and exercise before you eat dinner so that their bodies can start to wind down. That's the overall routine, But we can talk about that deeper. If you guys want me to go deeper into what a day looks like in the life of an autistic child, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video for you guys so you can see. Avoid caffeine, period. No soda, no tea, no sweet tea, no coffee. Particularly close to bedtime, though, which can be alerting. It wakes them up, making it difficult for your child to fall asleep. Caffeine is not only found in coffee, but also in tea, in chocolate, and some sodas. Be mindful of what you allow your children to ingest. It may be causing the demise in your life. Now, naps are helpful for preschool children, but shouldn't be taken late in the afternoon, as they can interfere with bedtime. So it might be cool. You might be like, yeah, it's taking a nap so I could breathe. But if your child bedtime is 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you putting them for a nap, no, they ain't going to bed at 8 o'clock on that night. That night, they're going to be up until the wee hours of the morning, and so will you. Those little few minutes of peace and tranquility will cost you your whole night. Choose wisely. It is important to address medical or psychiatric issues that potentially interfere with sleep. Your child's medications might need adjustment if they affect his or her sleep. If your child suffers from a sleep disorder such as sleep apnea, sleepwalking, sleep terrors, restless leg syndrome, he or she may need a referral to a sleep specialist. Some children with persistent insomnia will need further behavioral or pharmacological treatment to improve their sleep. In summary, although sleep problems are common in children with ASD, they often can be helped. Better sleep for these children can potentially improve their daytime functions as well as the sleep of family members. And again, the links are in the description bar. Now, again, we've already discussed this briefly, but we're going to go over it just real quick. Not getting a good night's sleep can have serious impact on a child's life and overall health. Research has shown that in children with autism, there is a connection between the lack of sleep and the following characteristics. And I'm going to share the screen as well. Thank you, Worldwide Spotlight. Oh, I guess he reactivated. Yay. Shout out to him. Ow. But let me share this screen with y'all just so y'all see. I like to give visuals. Because this is the type of stuff that I look at, and it's been of great benefit to me and my child. But I do a lot of research. You know, that's kind of my life. That's kind of what I went to school for, research, science. So again, the connection between lack of sleep and the following characteristics is aggression, depression, hyperactivity, increased behavioral problems, irritability, poor learning and cognitive performance. If your child isn't sleeping, there's a good chance you aren't either. One study showed that the parents of children with autism sleep less, have poorer sleep quality, and wake up earlier than parents of children without autism. And I'm going to tell you, before I got my son's sleep routine in order, sis, I think I was getting like 2 hours of sleep at night. And I'm so thankful to my Heavenly Father that I was able to function and push through. But baby, I feel amazing now that I can sleep. And I'm telling you, if you follow these tips and you talk to your pediatricians, baby, you will feel amazing too. Put in that work. Do it. It's worth it. Now, every child needs a slightly different amount of sleep. And this is a generalized tool for the amounts of sleep that children need by age. Ages 1 to 3 need 12 to 14 hours of sleep per day. Now, that could be in one block if your child is not a napper. If your child naps, it can be broken up throughout the day. But out of 24, they should be asleep about half the day. Ages 3 to 6 should also be asleep about half the day, 10 to 12 hours. And if they don't have naps, and I'm telling you, once your child reaches about 3.5, 4, honey, naps is out the window, especially if they are high energy, they ain't doing it. They should be going to sleep around 7 and getting up at like 7. But again, you got to get that sleep routine established to get that popping, to get that working out. Now, children ages 7 to 12 need 10 to 11 hours of sleep per day, almost half the day still. A little bit less. You know what I'm saying? As they get their activities pumping and flowing and ow. They get their little independence, honey. They be like, I want to stay up all night. I just can't watch TV. Mommy, I just want to watch TV. I don't want to go to sleep. I'm not sleepy. When children don't get the proper sleep they need, they start to develop physical illnesses. Again, we're talking about the period of time in which cellular regeneration happens, in which growth in the epiphyseal plates happens. That's why they're sleeping. That's why your child could go to sleep one night wearing a size 1 and wake up in the morning and be wearing a size 2 or a 1.5. We're not going to say they go up a whole size, but you understand what I'm saying? Like a 1.5. They flex. Their bodies do miraculous things in their sleep. Pour into your children. Keep a sleep diary. Keep track of when your children are sleeping, when they're not sleeping, and how they're sleeping. Because these, hey, good morning, Information Man Show. These are the things that are imperative and important to proper growth and development of children, especially children with autism spectrum disorder. There's a lot that goes into being a good parent to a special needs child. A lot of it is sacrifice. A lot of it is establishing routine. It's documentation. It's paying attention and staying aware of what is going on with your child. But I'm here to offer you words of encouragement. It can be done. I'm doing it. The people that have been in my platform for a while have seen the whole process. From the time my son was 1 year old, my son has been in school. He's been in school to know how to socialize. He's been dealing with occupational therapy, speech therapy, sensory therapy, like all the therapies, honey, every single therapy in the world. But here we are, 3 years later, really 2.5, but we'll round up. 3 years later, he now can feed himself. He can eat with utensils. His fine motor skills have improved vastly, and his vocabulary has increased exponentially. With him saying new phrases, not words, ladies and gentlemen, but full phrases every day. Yesterday, he told me, not right now, not right now, not right now. I call myself putting a baby lock, baby-proofing a door, and I closed it. Turned around, went to go do something, came back. It was open, and he was in there getting his milk. Now, y'all know he loved his milk, honey, so he was going to find a way. He done figured out how to use his fine motor skills and grasp the clasp and slide it off of the lock to get to his milk. Be encouraged. If you do the work, your child will be okay. And to my parents with children on the spectrum that are worried that their child will never speak, that's okay too. That's okay too. Your child may never speak a word. That doesn't mean that they can't have independence. That doesn't mean that they can't have skills. Don't you ever be discouraged. And don't you ever let nobody tell you what your child can or cannot do. The deciding factor in who your child will be and what your child can do is not based solely on their diagnosis. It's based on how you nurture them. We become so complacent in what we are told by doctors that we forget there is a higher power. There is a higher authority. That being said, fly free because it's a privilege. Take care, and I will see y'all tonight as we continue the history. We're going to look tonight at some speeches by Marcus Garvey. Y'all fly free, y'all. You know what it is. See you later. Peace.
Steady blocking the devil, I tell a hater, God bless you. Cherish moments that special, you gotta keep the memento. If you love me, then I love you, and I could never forget you. Some memories don't fade, sometimes you miss the old days, but nothing changed unless you change what's around you, how you think, how you live, how you speak, how you walk, how you blink, how you talk, how you teach, how you reach, let it sink. What's your purpose? What's your passion? Through the pain, what's your plan? Is it plane? On a plane? How's your plane? I'm just playing. What's your purpose? What's your passion? Did it pay? What's your play? Is it play? On a plane? How'd you play? I'm just playing. A beat by Joby, feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi, cause I'm a star and they can't hold me like I'm Kobe in the fourth. Yeah, nothing is ever forced. We headed straight to the source. No middleman, little man. Let me show you if you was lost. It's a couple college courses, but I ain't finished that shit. Been chasing dreams since 17, so yeah, I've been on my shit. Yeah, we loaded up the vault and